Yeah. Sync. Yay! Yeah.
Run it back, nation, what is go?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, what up? What's going on with you? How are you doing today? How you living? I don't feel like I'm focused. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, what's going on, my people? It is your boy, DJ Eastwood, Run It Back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys. Never had an intro. I don't know what you guys keep talking about with this intro garbage, dude. You keep telling me like I'm lying. You have an intro. I just watched an intro, and I just can't figure out what you're talking about. Drop the T. Oh, this is going to be hot. Yeah. All right, so check it out. Everybody hit the like button. 137 people in here. Hit the like button. Give me 137 likes. If you're watching this on replay, hit the like button. Let's get to 500. That helps out the show. That helps out Run It Back Philly as a business. Shout out to my guy Tony Merkel, by the way. Yeah. What else? Oh, I need to hit okay, almost forgot something. Good thing I write notes down now. And go to runitbackphillyshop.com. Use the code BLOWUP20 for 20% off all the merch, hoodies, t-shirts, everything. 20% off. Runitbackphillyshop.com. Trust Issues Tee. Available now. And hoodies and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Support your man. Support your boy. All right, here we go. Let's get right into it. We're not going to waste any time. James Harden has arrived. Don't I have a viewer count on this thing here? Boom. No. Okay. James Harden has arrived in Colorado for Sixers training camp per Pompey on Sixers. Now, I thought, we would have had a bigger, I guess, kind of like freak out about this because the whole summer we were like, is he going to show up? Is he going to not show up? We didn't know. He said, I'm not coming. I'm never playing for a team that Daryl Morey is a part of. He's a liar. He said he's not coming. We had debates all summer about it. And first of all, shout out to my guy RB, Philly Take with RB. One of the collaborations that we did in the middle of the summer, I remember us both having different paths. I said it's not going to happen. He said James Harden's going to come to training camp because he's going to have no option. He's going to have no choice but to come to training camp. And RB was 100% correct. James Harden has no choice but to come to training camp because he's going to lose a lot of money. Not just that, the NBA is trying to crack down on these things and, the fines. Basically, just fine them to stop players from doing stuff like this. Make the fines substantial enough for them to come to training camp. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the mover, that's the motivator. Money runs the world. If the fine is big enough, he's going to show up. But the question remains, how is he going to show up? And they practice at, I think it was 1 o'clock yesterday, which is 4 o'clock our time on the East Coast. So we won't really know what actually went down until a little bit later today. And that's, get your popcorn ready. Get your popcorn ready. This is insane that this happens seemingly every year to the Philadelphia 76ers, every other year so far in the recent 2 out of 3 years this has happened. Okay. And really, this is a reality TV drama for grown men and women. If you're into this sort of thing, I don't know. There's some Sixers, female Sixers fans, of course, but this is drama for us. This is a reality TV show for us. It's basically WWE, but real life, which makes it even more interesting and crazy and funny and fun at the same time. So as far as I'm concerned, forget basketball, forget winning, forget sports, forget everything. Just give me this level of drama every year, and I'll be right back in. I'll be right back and tuned in. Just give me some new drama every year. Sixers never going to win anyway. The Sixers are never going to win anyway, so just give me some drama every year, and I'll be right back. So here we are. Oh, what a horse and pony show this is. So how is James Harden going to show up, and what's he going to do? What's he really going to do? It's still James Harden's camp trying to threaten everybody into, trying to threaten Daryl Morey into trading him. They have no leverage. It doesn't really make any sense. Nobody's scared. Nobody cares, James. You know what I mean? How fucking big is your ego? How ginormous is your ego to think that an NBA organization or a coaching staff or a front office or a team or anybody is going to be scared that you're showing up to training camp? James Harden wants to make the 76ers uncomfortable, so uncomfortable ultimately that they don't think they'll get the best out of him and make a trade. That was Woj on ESPN yesterday. And again, we said yesterday, we'll say it again, we'll say it every day, Woj is bought and paid for. Clearly, the messages that Woj is saying on TV are coming from James Harden's camp. And how big is your ego that you think anybody gives a fuck, James Harden? What makes you think anybody cares, bro? You really think the Sixers are sitting back like, oh no, we better trade him or he's going to come into training camp and do what? Do what, bro? Do what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? This is very simple, What was he going to come in and sit Indian style at half court and refuse to do anything? Guess what? You're out of here. This is so simple. And I can't wait to hear what happens later, but this is so simple. If James Harden comes in to practice and refuses to do the drills or is clearly antagonizing the workout or the fucking, what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Sorry for the F-bombs today. I'm ramped up. If he comes in intentionally disrupting the practice, you kick him out, you send him home, you do the same thing that you did with Ben Simmons. You fine him, you suspend him for conduct detrimental to the team, and you rinse and repeat. You rinse and you repeat the process. Because at the end of the day, it's a judgment call. Somebody, one of these little Harden stans on Twitter, replied to a tweet and said, they can kick him out, but they can't suspend him. Where do you guys get this stuff from? Where do you get this from your cult leader? All hail the GOAT, James Harden. Where do you get this information? Did you miss the whole Ben Simmons saga? They kicked him out, they suspended him, they fined him. I don't understand where... Oh, they can't suspend James Harden. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. And it doesn't have to be something egregious. It doesn't have to be something super serious. It's a judgment call. The organization says he's walking through running drills. He's at practice, but he's not listening to anybody, and he's like off to the side doing his own workouts. He's not cooperating with the practice that he's signed the contract to cooperate with. Conduct detrimental to the team. You can go home now. Here's your fine. Here's your suspension. Some people keep commenting and say, why don't we just pay him to stay home? Pay him to stay home? Why would you want to do that? No. Fight fire with fire, damn it. Do everything you can to send him home without paying him. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do, and I hope that's what happens today. I just don't get it, man. I really don't get it, because he has no leverage. And if you come in here acting like a jackass, everybody's watching. The whole world is watching. Your goal as an NBA player late in his career is to show somebody that you're worth another contract. And if you come in here and act like this, and it's well documented, you're only hurting yourself, James Harden. So I guess I was kind of right, you know. Okay, he's showing up because he's not going to get paid, or he's going to get fined, or he's going to get suspended. But if he doesn't show up and try, or he shows up and has some kind of antics, he still hasn't swallowed his pride and put his ego aside to do what's best for his own future as an NBA player. James Harden, if he could put his ego aside, would show up, play hard, join the team, play hard the first couple weeks of the season, maybe even half a season. And then maybe somebody would offer something that's good enough for you to be traded to where you want to be traded. If you're going to play this game, you're just killing your trade value even more. And I don't see, they don't think they'll get the best out of him and make a trade. That's not how this works. You think Daryl Morey cares? We've seen this guy sit on Ben Simmons for how long? We've seen this guy play hardball. And you're so far in it now, they're not going to be like, oh, damn, they were right. James isn't participating in practice. So now we'll trade him to the Clippers for the ball boy and a I don't know. Like, no, that's not what's going to happen. You can't force a trade by acting like a jackass. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. What they talking about in the chat? Played hardball and screwed us? I agree with that. You know how I feel about how bad Daryl Morey's been so far as a Sixers GM, but all I'm saying is he's going to play hardball. I'm not saying it helps, but he's going to play hardball. But does it help us to trade him to the Clippers for nothing when you could just kick him out, fine him, and suspend him? I don't know. I don't think. That's the point, to tank his own trade value. Why would he want to increase it? What? Because he wants to get traded. Tanking your own trade value is going to get you traded? You think the Sixers are scared that James Harden's going to tank his trade value even farther than it is? There's no going lower than it is. The Clippers won't trade Terrence Mann for this guy, this 10-time All-Star. It can't get any lower. Nobody's scared. Oh, man, we better trade him now, or next week nobody's going to offer anything for him, like they're not offering anything for him right now. This is why I got the hot tea. Okay, it's supposed to help my mood. It's supposed to keep me calm. No one wants James Harden. What's so hard to understand? Exactly. Ben Simmons and Harden are Philly legends. Yeah. So, moving on. And I have something really fun that I want to play because I was listening to it this morning on my way back from taking my kid to school, and I was laughing out loud. And if you haven't heard it, I'm going to play it for you. But before that, here's some information from Brian Toporek. I forget. Bleacher Report senior multi-platform editor, NBA pod co-host. For what it's worth, this language in the NBA's uniform player contract, if when James Harden tries to sabotage the Sixers, I don't see why they wouldn't just suspend him. Wow, who do you think knows what's going on here? senior NBA writer at Bleacher Report, or Harden stands telling me that they can't suspend him. I don't see why they wouldn't just suspend him. It might wind up in arbitration, but who cares? The player, number B, letter B. The player agrees, to give his best services. See? There you go. That's what I'm saying. If he shows up and he's clearly not even trying, he violates it. It doesn't have to be something crazy. The player vows to give his best services as well as his loyalty to the team and to play basketball only for the team and its assignees. To be neatly and fully attired in public. Nobody abides by that. These guys wear runway model outfits. To conduct himself on and off the court according to the highest standards of honesty, citizenship, and sportsmanship. Well, he already violates that. Not do anything that is materially detrimental or materially prejudicial to the best interests of the team or the league. For any violation of team rules, any breach of any provision of this contract, or for any conduct impairing the faithful and thorough discharge of the duties incumbent upon the player, the team may reasonably impose fines and or suspension on the player in accordance with the terms of the CBA. So there you go. Suspend him. Get him out of here. Get it over with. Suspend him. Get him out of here. Get it over with. That's what you do. That's what you do. Hey, 395 people in here. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Listening to these shows every day and tuning in and not being a subscriber is what we like to call fraudulent behavior. Turn your notification bell on. Strap in for this season because it's going to be a fun one. We're streaming every single game on Playback TV starting this Sunday at 6 p.m. If you were part of the Playback streams last year, we had a blast. We were well over 300 live viewers through the playoffs. That was incredible numbers for a platform that is brand new. So come on back. Get the Playback app back on your phone running, wherever you were watching, and get ready to watch some Sixers on Playback TV. And my mouse just froze. Okay, there we go. RB, what up? Philly Take with RB. Thanks for the super chat, my dude. Says James Harden talking to the media today would break the internet. Does he have to talk to the internet, or does he have to talk to the internet? Does he have to talk to the media? Is that a thing? I mean, I guess that's part of your contract, right? So if he's showing up to training camp, I didn't even think about this. If he's showing up to training camp and part of it is speaking to the media, holy hell, what's he going to say? Ben didn't have to speak to the media, though. But Ben showed up for one practice, got kicked out, and never came back. Cost himself a lot of money. If James Harden talks to the media, what's he going to do? He's going to do the Marshawn Lynch thing. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I would think that's probably, what's going to happen. I would think that's what's going to happen. He's just going to literally not say anything. Because he is only there so he doesn't get fined. Now, look, if you guys, this was so much fun. I was listening to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez this morning, driving back from taking my kid to school, and if you haven't heard, on their most recent episode, Spike Eskin and Mike Levin had a little bit of a James Harden rant, and it was a lot of fun to listen to, and I was laughing my ass off. If you it's one of my, it's the Sixers podcast. If you haven't listened to it all through the process era, they've been doing it for years. I've been listening to it for years. I agree with a lot, some things they say. I disagree with some things they say. But at the end of the day, they provide me with Sixers content as a listener. And me putting out my own Sixers content, it's nice to be able to go listen to someone else give their opinion and things on the Sixers and the drama that's going on. And they had a little bit of a rant. And if you haven't heard it, I'm going to play it right now. And if you listen to this with like kids or something, just there's definitely some F-bombs in here. I know somebody one time told me, I like to listen to your show with my daughters in the morning and, don't be dropping F-bombs. And I just, it is what it is. This is, shield their ears or, I don't know, stop censoring your children from the world. Here you go. Oh, it's not playing. Hold on. Okay, hold on. We got to figure out. I haven't done lives for a couple months. I got to figure out where the hell's the damn, bro. I forget how to get it to come through. Hold on. Open sound settings. Let's see. Rodecaster Pro 2. Rodecaster Pro 2 main stereo. Volume. F-bomb. If this doesn't play, I'm going to be so pissed. Why wouldn't it play? Let's try again. 15 minutes. No, that's not it. Here we go. Settings. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Damn, bro. I haven't done this for 2 months. Outputs. Routing. Holy hell. RB, where you at? RB, where you at? I need your help. I forget how to get to output routing. There we go. We found the mix minus. Sorry for that. It's been a couple months since I used this thing to try to play, audio on a live stream. But here you go. We'll start over. This is just good stuff, and you need to hear it, okay?
5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And my response to it is this. Fuck James Harden from here to eternity. Fuck him all the way to Mars. Fuck him to Jupiter. Fuck him to the moon. Fuck him to the sun. Fuck this guy for making media day for the second year in a row. It is the second year? No, third year. No, second. 2 out of 3 years, right? All anyone is asking questions about, and I don't begrudge the reporters for it because they have to ask these questions, but the general manager and the coach and the players all have to answer questions about a player who is healthy, under contract, being paid almost $40 million, but decided because he's a big baby who doesn't want to face the fact that he failed so massively that nobody wants him, won't come to camp and just play basketball, the literal job he has that he is contracted to do because he wants to be traded to one specific place after he opted into his contract. Dude, fuck this guy. Fuck you, man. Like the failures in 2 consecutive playoffs when he disappeared against Miami. I want to be clear. This guy 2 years ago didn't just fail against Miami. He quit. He literally quit. I was watching it. He didn't want to win the game. He wanted no parts of it. And then in game 6 and game 7 against Boston, he did the exact same thing. He ran, and not the only guilty one, but ran and he hid. He ran and hid. He wanted no parts of it. It was as bad as a player of his level could possibly play in a position like that. He was horrible. And he had an opportunity to leave and never come back here again. Not play with Embiid, not play for Daryl Morey, not be part of Philadelphia, not be part of Doc Rivers. He could have just walked away. But instead, he opted in and demanded a trade to a specific place because no one wanted to pay him the money that he wanted. It's honestly, it's so fucking annoying that we can't just sit there and listen to them answer benign questions about what they worked on in the offseason. that like 75% of it. It's so annoying that like if maybe Daryl Morey would have had a failure of an offseason without the Harden thing.
Probably.
And the press could ask him about his failure of an offseason, or could ask Nick Nurse only about what is going to happen on the court, not what's going to happen if the second highest paid player on the team shows up or doesn't show up. The same with Tyrese Maxey. The fucking guy has done everything asked of him as a young player. Great attitude, great play, got better in a way we could have never expected. But the first 4 questions are, well, what's it going to be like if a guy just decides not to come? It's just fucking so dumb. And I'm so over talking about this dipshit. Dude, either come to camp and play basketball or say they can trade you wherever they want to trade you. I just don't want to hear his fucking name anymore. I'm just so sick of media day being ruined by bullshit like this. I want to hear them talk about
Called him
nothing.
a dipshit.
I want to see them make some goofy smile and laugh about something or tell some story. And instead it's just like, you got to ask Tobias Harris what happens if James Harden isn't there? Who the fuck cares? I'm sorry. I just couldn't take it.
No, I mean, we've done this all off season.
Oh, this is so good.
And just with kind of the same points and different words. He's just a dick. He's being such a dick. And he's been a dick at so many different places that has alienated so many different people. And he's no longer good enough to be this much of a dick. He thinks he is. But look around. If you were good enough to be this much of a dick, you'd be gone. You wouldn't have picked up your fucking option. 5 years ago, people would have moved heaven and earth to hear that James Harden is available. He wouldn't have picked up his option. He would have declined it. He would have gotten a big fat contract. Teams would have like sold future firsts to clear cap space to go get him. They're not doing that anymore. And it's not because he sacrificed so much last season with Joel Embiid and allowed him, Joel, who also, by the way, allowed Harden to have one of the most efficient seasons of his career because he played with another guy who is better than him. That helped for a while. Now he's just not going to get any of the money that he thinks he's going to get next season, whether he's in the league or out of the league, or takes his ball and going home. And he's just making everything incredibly unpleasant for everybody. The Sixers players are being very kind and saying that they want him back and we'd love to have him and he's our brother and I'm staying out of it. Danny Green said he's Switzerland. Welcome back, Danny. But it's just like Daryl answers it and tries to be like an adult about this shit. And it's just like, dude, you've done this too many goddamn places. You've not had nearly enough playoff success. You are going to be out of the league in the next couple of years at best. And there's no one has actually any hope for him showing up and increasing his trade stock so that they could trade him, so that someone would want him.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying.
No one has any hope. It's just like, hey, what's this shitty guy going to do? What's this shitty guy going to do? Is shitty guy going to show up and be like increasingly more shitty? Because he's probably not going to show up and play hard and play well and be a good teammate, even though his teammates have been like incredibly good to him. It's just like, dude, fucking enough already, man. Like, what an awful time the Sixers are having. What an awful time. And like, in the grand scheme of things, when you step back and look at the entire Joel Embiid era, hopefully this is a blip. Just as hopefully the Ben Simmons trade request was relatively a blip. Just as the time between Brian Colangelo being his burners being outed and the time that they officially had to let him go is now a blip. When you're in it, it feels like forever.
It does.
And we're in the forever period of this with no hope and no way out. And Drew Holiday is now on the Celtics. And the Sixers remain the Sixers. Why are the Celtics? Why are the Celtics, Heat, and Bucks like their fans upset? Like, I don't really understand it. The Celtics have been good every single year. They've had like tremendous success. They've gotten to conference finals. They've gotten to the finals. They have young, good players still, and they keep remaking their team because they have assets. I'm burning through all my notes already. I'm burning through them. They're gone. Ripping through them, just cutting it down. The Heat obviously have made the fucking finals like 7 of the last 8 years or whatever, and had long success when it was LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. And the Bucks just won a fucking championship. Their fans feel anxious or angsty. Look at us. Look at us. What are we doing? What are we doing? How are we still here? Oh my God. Still made a conference finals. Every year it's a new thing. Every goddamn year it's a new thing. Every one. And I know that by February or April or whenever.
Oh my God, that was hilarious. I swear to God, I was driving and I was crying laughing. Because it's so true. It resonates with all of us. But it's so unbelievable at this point that it's just funny. It's just funny as shit. Whoa, it's just entertaining at this point. I mean, what is it's a circus? Oh man, that was amazing. Shout out to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I loved every second of that. DFJ Hoops, thanks for the super chat. Me personally, I think Harden will be traded mid-season. I don't know what to see, what if he shows up and is going to try. I mean, we'll have to see what goes down today, to really know. I mean, if he knows what's best for him, he has to play. I think it's annoying, too, that he has to play, Because here's Nick Nurse trying to implement an offense and a system and schemes and everything that have nothing to do with James Harden, that have everything to do with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid and ball movement. And, Tobias Harris said you're going to see a lot more Tobias Harris pick and rolls with him and Joel Embiid, which nobody actually wants to see. He said you're going to see a lot more Tobias Harris post-ups, which, hopefully doesn't actually happen at all. But Nick Nurse is here practicing with this team, trying to implement all kinds of schemes and a process and everything. And James Harden is going to be forced to join that. So now everybody's going to have to change the whole plan, change the whole process, change the whole philosophy of the team and who's the engine and who are we running through. And it's not good for the team. You're between a rock and a hard place. It doesn't help you to trade him for nothing, but it hurts your team to force him to play. I don't have an answer. Daryl Morey's answer obviously is we're going to force him to play whatever. We're choosing the lesser of two evils. We're going to force him to play. So that's what they're choosing, and we will just have to sit back and see what happens. It's unbelievable. Maybe one of these years, we will get a normal basketball team. Maybe one of these years, the Philadelphia 76ers will be a normal basketball team. We'll be excited about the upcoming season, and we'll be like, hey, the whole team's ready to go. Everybody's healthy. Training camp starts. They're at practice this day, that day. Reporters are posting, quotes from players in interviews and little clips of players working out and doing shot workouts. And we're excited. And then that's it. And then at the media day and at these practices, they ask the players, hey, what did you work on? Hey, what did you do this off season? What do you think it's going to look like? And we're just hearing things and are excited about the basketball team that is about to start the basketball season. Maybe one of these years we will be blessed with normality from the Philadelphia 76ers, but I wouldn't bank on it anytime soon. Oh my goodness. Couple things before I get out of here. Shout out to everyone in here. 482. Give me a like. Give me 482 likes. Let's read the Sam Amick article that he wrote for The Athletic, where he has some inside information, and I think he interviewed Nick Nurse, or maybe that was the Philadelphia Inquirer one, but either way. Here is The Athletic. It's Sam Amick. Even if James Harden shows up to Sixers training camp as expected on day number 2, league sources that say he still has zero intentions of rejoining the team in earnest. And so they all uncomfortably wait in Fort Collins, Colorado, of all places, Sam Amick says. And here you go. I paid $1.99 to read this for you. Shout out to The Athletic for, charging money to read their articles. I get it. It's a job. You're trying to pay the bills. Here you go. Sam Amick. As first year Sixers head coach, Nick Nurse walks across the hardwood Colorado State's arena. Okay, day 1. The Harden situation has been clarified, if only for a day, with the aggrieved star expected to take part in camp on day number 2 after missing the opening day. The most important members of the Sixers universe, President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey and reigning MVP Joel Embiid, had shared their views on the situation at Media Day. The next move here is up to Harden, who league sources say remains just as incensed as before at Morey and is still liable to disappear on the Sixers at any moment, either during camp at some point in the preseason or, who knows, maybe even halftime of a game. So yes, in other words, the messiness and acrimony that has come with this trade request remain, and there are almost assuredly more fireworks to come at some point. The only mystery left to solve on day number 1, and one that I had wondered about since deciding to join them in this town, was seemingly random selection of training camp location. The answer, as it turns out, was a stark reminder that this Harden-Morey situation is at a serious cost for all involved. The Sixers want to be where they actually are. Nurse said that it's for fitness. To put it simply, Nurse's motivations for picking Fort Collins for training camp were all based in his belief that this group was about to spend the next 9 months competing for a championship. He wanted his new players to bond during this little getaway, much like they had during previous Toronto Raptors training camps in Vancouver and Quebec. He wanted them to get a break from the East Coast media, with only the diehards among Sixers reporters to speak, making this long trek. Here's what Nick Nurse said about the location. Taking the team away and the old idea of let's get out and get away and bond and spend some time together, that's still a real thing. Without James Harden, of course. It's still a real thing, and as you mentioned, and if I'm being honest with you, yes, I thought that getting away from the media a little bit could help us so we could focus on basketball. Sam asked him about Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, not sure why. And Nurse basically brushed over that and acted like it wasn't a thing. Anyway, Nurse said, yeah, I thought the altitude could help us get in shape. So James Harden, who didn't do anything this offseason, doesn't want to be there, has to go to Colorado in high altitude to get in shape. What a disaster. As for the mental side of it all, here's where where Nuggets big man Nikola Jokic stated his claim as the best player and won the title. Nick Nurse said, maybe. I mean, they're very good and they have a good chance to be in the final. No. What kind of question is that, Sam? He doesn't want to talk about Nikola Jokic. What else did he say? Nurse's credit, early reviews of his camp have been very positive. He runs a lively practice with all sorts of multimedia offerings incorporated that could be heard through the gym walls and are intended to make each session fun and focused. There's the music, Rocky theme. Come on, man. Super Mario-style coin sound that drops whenever someone gets a bucket or a block, and even an eagle noise that reminds defenders to wait for it, spread their wings. If you didn't know any better, you'd think everything in Sixers land was status quo. Nurse says, just about every season in the NBA, there's always something going on, right? Even my first year at Toronto as head coach, something going on into day one. You think you're just trying to get vision, your philosophy settled. Kawhi hadn't played in 14 months. Lowry was pissed because DeRozan got traded. Serge was pissed because he thought he might be coming off the bench. There's always something. It's part of the gig. And for me, I'm just trying to continue to hone and to build the philosophy. It always needs work. It always needs polish. What can we change to make things better? I still just love how progressive-minded this guy is compared to Doc Rivers. How does it fit this group of guys better? A lot of training helps too. I came in through the minor leagues in England. There's buses breaking down the way to games. Are you going to play or not? Are you going to go out there? Players come and go in the minors, and you got to go and try to put the best game plan you can and get the guys to play as hard as they can and play together. So there's what Nick Nurse had to say about where they're practicing and James Harden not being there or whatever. And he said the right things. He said, this happens. This is how things are in the NBA. There's always something going on. And I'm just going to adapt. I'm just going to continue to try to improve the game plan. It can always get better. And, it is what it is. So I think Nurse is handling it well. We have a Woj bomb, they're saying in the chat. Are you got Nick? I respect you. Ozzy, I know you guys aren't trolling. Oh, boy. Wojnarowski. James Harden is participating in Philadelphia 76ers practice at Colorado State University this morning. Sources tell ESPN. Okay. So James Harden is at practice, and he is participating, Wojnarowski says. Wojnarowski is also the one that just put out last night that James Harden is going to do his best to disrupt practice or make this painful for the Sixers or whatever else, trying to get everyone scared of Harden like he's a Unabomber or something. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if I should have just said that on YouTube, what I just said. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. And now Woj is tweeting, James Harden is participating in Sixers practice. That's pretty funny, It's almost like Woj is on the phone with Harden's camp 24/7. They're like, hey, Woj, tell him James is at practice. Let him know James is at practice. We're not going to know if he's trying. We're not going to know, what it seems like. We're going to see, I guess, in the next hour or so, man. I wish I had all day to just sit here and wait for Twitter, because the reporters are going to tell us, James Harden did this, did that. He got kicked out of practice, and this happened. So, I don't know, man. Do I stay on Woj here? Do I go to, Kyle Neubeck? He hasn't tweeted for 3 hours. Keith Pompey hasn't tweeted for 3 hours. Yeah, I really wish I had time for it, but I'm gonna have to just make a video that I could post later, reacting to whatever it is that happened at this practice. I guess, you know what I mean? I want to play one thing before I get out of here. The Sixers met with Deion Sanders last night. Deion Sanders they met with last night. Hold on, I wrote down the time I wanted to start this. Where'd my notes go? They met with Deion Sanders, and he said some things. People are like, why did you meet with Deion Sanders? Some people are like, I'm so sick of seeing Deion Sanders. I get it. But I think Deion, in this little meeting here, sent some messages that are very valuable for a team like this. Because a team like this, of NBA players who, people think, I'm not going to name a certain someone that's defended coaches for years, but he always blames the players, and the players got to be better, the players got to play harder. Everybody still needs motivation. You know, everybody could still use a little motivation. Yeah, you're a multimillionaire. Yeah, you're one of the best basketball players in the world. That's why you're playing basketball in the best league in the world. They still need to be motivated. Something that Doc Rivers wasn't doing. Anyway, just listen to what Deion Sanders says. Here we go. My bad. Here we go.
Because when they get in the game and they going against James, and you must try to get in front of Tarzan and he start whooping you, that's a problem. So that's on me. I got to make sure we getting the right challenge at practice.
I got to make sure we're getting the right challenge at practice. He started talking about how practice and repetition determines how well you play in the game. And for 3 years, I could not believe how it was common knowledge that Doc Rivers' practices were a walkthrough and were easy. Anyway.
Because those guys that's giving you that look, you got to be real, man. They got to come at you. They got to go at you. So, like, when
And it showed. Every time it got serious, yeah, the Sixers win 50 games, who gives a shit? Every time it got serious, every time the playoffs came around, they collapsed because they did not practice enough for these intense situations.
I played the game like if I was playing against Mike Irvin, before now it was Cowboys. I had to choose the big receiver that was going to work. I had to tell him how to work me, how to tell him how to lean on me, how to tell him how to do this and that, because I had to get ready for playmaker, because I know that was going to be a battle. Same thing with Jerry. I got to get somebody that's smart, that run a crisp route, and I had to get my two of them, because Jerry run all day, and I run all day. Neither one of us was going to tire, but I had to prepare myself that week for the absolute best. So that look team and what you do in practice is real. That's 100% genuine.
What you do in practice is real.
It's real. And I take practice seriously. You don't play. Coach, you don't play bus if you don't practice well.
And Nick Nurse is sitting right in front of him, and I think Nick Nurse has that same exact mentality. I don't care who you are. If you don't practice well, you're not going to play, straight up. I wish we had some hard-nosed thinkers like this when Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid were first drafted, but the Sixers were so desperate for stars to sell tickets that they just let these guys do whatever they want for 5 years, and it turned into what it is right now.
It's hard. You added some pieces, and you added some pieces that you finished.
That's all I wanted to say. You know, I think the Sixers are going to be much more prepared this season for the playoffs, for big-time games, whatever it is. They're going to be much more prepared than they've been. It was always so obvious. It was always so, wow, this team looks like they don't practice. This team is the worst rebounding team in the league. This team gets beat in transition. This team gets out-hustled every single night. They look like they don't practice. Finally. Nick Nurse sitting right in front of Deion Sanders probably saying the same thing to himself. Yeah, bro, I agree. The intensity of practice is what carries over to the game. Hey, Jay, thanks for subscribing to the channel. What I got out of this meeting is the Joker and Nuggets live rent-free in our organization's mind. I mean, they should. They absolutely should. You know, we talked all last season about Joel's the MVP, Joel's the MVP, Joel's the MVP. Joel beat Jokic in a regular season game. And then guess what? When it was time to go to Colorado, who sat out? Who sat out? Joel Embiid sat out. A regular season matchup. Joel Embiid ducked the smoke. I don't care who says what. That's what happened. And I'm sick of it. And then guess what team went on to win the damn championship? They should live rent-free in our heads. We have no room to say anything this season at all.
Should be the difference. But how bad do y'all want it? Straight up, you got to really look at each other and hold each other accountable, and you got to realize how bad do you really want it.
Look at each other and hold each other accountable. Whoa!
Like what you willing to do for it? What you willing to sacrifice for it? How far you willing to go for it?
How far are you willing to go for it, Joel? I'm glad James isn't there because obviously this applies to him. He's never cared at all. He'll quit on at the drop of a hat. What I saw from Joel Embiid last in Game 6 and Game 7 was just embarrassing on an effort level. He quit. He quit. I know people don't like to say that, but Joel Embiid needs to hear stuff like this too. Yeah, you're the MVP. Yeah, you did this, you did that. Yeah, you have an amazing story coming from where you came from. But how bad do you really want to be the best team? Okay, last year they called you the best player. How bad do you really want to be the best team? And how far are you willing to go? This is what I said in that Game 6 and Game 7. There was times where he had Malcolm Brogdon on the block and he was passing the ball. I want you to force your will. Until they start calling offensive fouls, he should have been in there trying to dominate everybody. And he was playing soft. So Joel Embiid needs to hear stuff like this too. How bad do you really want it? How far are you willing to go? Nobody cares that you're the MVP. Nobody cares that you did this, you did that, you averaged 35 points a game, whatever. Nobody cares. Anyway. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be on Twitter waiting for, to hear more stuff about what went down at this practice. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn your notification bell on. Tune in tomorrow. Same time, same place.